Alright, here we are. We just landed down from the thing. And if you're like, why are we starting over again even though you just made a video? It's because this is more so to show how to get to the first boss. Like the actual first boss, there is another elite enemy. He's still pretty big that you could probably confuse for the first boss. It's not too important, but I'm just going to go through this tutorial area and show you the full complete path. You know, just kind of go through everything. Because a lot of people would get lost, especially if you don't know where the map guy is, but you kind of have to see the map guy if you are going to the boss area like straight away. We don't need these, but I'm gonna go ahead and grab them just because I'm trying to hopefully not get hit during this boss fight, but also if I get hit along the way, that's also perfectly fine. You can always heal. I just don't want to sit on a bench. That way I can show you guys it's perfectly possible. You don't have to like rush like I'm doing right now to show you guys, but you could easily go ahead and beat the boss with how I'm going to explain. So once you go through the little tutorial area, you should have already done this if you started the game. It's not too long, but hopefully you got everything here. And if you didn't get the little charm, I'd recommend you go back and get that little charm if you didn't already. But once you already jumped off, there's no going back until a lot later in the game. That's not really a spoiler, but you'll be able to get back up there later on. And there's just no way to do anything with it right now. So hopefully you went and got all that. We're going to pass up the elder bug, pass up the town immediately, and jump straight into the well. Okay, after you go down, you want to immediately go to the left side. You can go to the right and start exploring, but the left side is more of like a straight up way to where I think it's more how the game wanted you to go to. Plus, it has the map guy and a bunch of useful stuff along the way anyway, so why not? See, you immediately come over here and you see the map guy. The map, let's see how much it costs at first. Let's see, map is 30. Once you have 30 geo, you can just come by the map from this guy and you'll immediately know where everything is, and you can just fall right here to the right side. Then once you go through the portal, it's going to bring you here. You will get stuck, and this thing does spit like some, the best way I can describe it for new players is sap. So kind of like that. See that? It just spit a yellow thing. You do get like a more in detailed explanation as you play, because there will be something called the Hunter's Journal, which I will go over whenever we get to that point. But for right now, you just need to go through here, go smack these guys. It's like 3 hits with starter damage, and there's no point up there, but there's a little hot spring. It heals you. It both gives you soul and health in the hot spring, but not the blue health. It gives you normal mask. So that's the only thing. I hate this one mosquito. I don't know how many times it's damaged me and made me fall into spikes, but just avoid that one. And then as you go through, these other mosquitoes I feel like are the more annoying enemies in the game, at least at this beginning starting point. And these guys are more common, these worms. You get less scared of them as you go on, because look, they just killed them other guys for you. So as you go, you're going to see this sign right here, that little symbol right there, that weird looking head. It's the symbol of actually a bug called the stag beetle, which is going to be up here. Well, I think it's the stag beetle. Over here. My bad. I worded that really stupidly, but once you come over here, the toll machine, you can insert your 50 geo, a little thing will pop up, you end up smacking it, it's like a little bell, and then the gates will open, he'll come through. You can save. I'm not going to save though. And you could just go on and go right up, because that's now your spawn point. You die, you will spawn right back there. Perfectly fine. But you're like, why would they put the spawn point right there? They normally put benches either halfway points of the map or right before a boss. And if you go right above there, which is what you guys just saw me do, there's this enemy. He's pretty big. He's an elite. What you do is you smack, run backwards, smack, run backwards, and if he does that where he bounces his butt on the floor to make these giant waves, you just simply go back a little, run, and you smack. I got hit there. That's perfectly fine. If you feel a little extra, you could jump, and even though it looks like it would hit you from jumping like that, you actually miss. And luckily I did push him back there enough to show this hidden pathway. You actually won't find this unless he comes over here and hits it. So another way you could do it is you could jump above him like it has here, jump behind, he will run after you, but he is too big to fit through this gap, and he will end up trying to smack you and break this anyway. And this is not too important until later on, but it's still good to know it is here, because again, there are abilities and ways to go through this. You cannot go through this while down spiking because there is no room. You down spike, you will get stabbed in the face and end up just keep resetting. It's not a good thing, not very useful. And along the way right here, there are a few enemies. They aren't very strong, but they are useful to fill up your little gauge. I have no idea why I jumped into that, but let's go. You're gonna break these little beetles. You're gonna go through, and then you're gonna repeat. Okay, we're gonna keep rushing here to this left side. There's that one hallway right there. That was gonna be your main challenge. And you're like, why is there this empty thing? It's blocked off. What do you do? This is actually the boss chamber already. I can't show you on the map because we don't actually have it, but it is towards the middle if you follow the path we just did. And you would have the static station, you would have a bench, you would already have a lot of this stuff in this first area if you followed where I went. And you're like, there's nothing here, it's just these normal bugs. Like, these are the normal ones that already exist. And the thing is, you're right. But then this guy falls out the sky whenever you try to make it through. And this guy right here is ridiculous. Because, look, he's huge. He tries to hit you, he makes a sound wave, he goes forward, you hit him a little, he's gonna smack. You just go through, but whenever he jumps, you just go straight behind him. And he can't do anything. See, we already did one whole phase of his life. Once his head pops up, it is like the ore. You want to just start smacking upwards. Sometimes he goes a little bit crazy like that. You just kind of want to stand away from him and then do this. But honestly, if you don't want to fight this guy, you see what happened there? This thing is breaking. I just broke this. I could escape this fight right now. Most people won't know that, and you probably won't see that ever. But if you are resistant enough to like just withstand that first phase, which if you do what I said and just like go directly behind him, or like go backwards like this, whenever he does his wave, he charges it up. He kind of holds it there. And see, he's in his next phase. Whole room started shaking. Haven't lost any health. You can escape if you're super scared to fight this guy. And this one is where he goes both sides. He kind of like goes to the middle. See, whole area is shaking. He's gonna do that. He's gonna charge up. So I jump. He does it again. So I go backwards. And look, he's just getting so mad at us because we're dodging everything this guy's got. This guy's trained for years. And heck, even if you wanted to face do that, you could just jump like this. And it's fine if you get hit because you have 5 health. You can just recharge before he opened his head. You start smacking him. Look, I have full soul, full health. This guy is just getting pummeled. He can't do anything. Plus, I got in some hits. And you have invincibility right here. See, even if you were to go like this and start going ham, I just beat him. It doesn't matter if you get hit. There is room for risk there. I did that to show you guys. Look, he's just laying on the floor. You just start beating him. I have full health, full soul. It's like he never touched you. You could easily go without him ever actually touching you too, if you wanted to. And then there's this little object here, inspect. And you grab it, it's the city crest because this guy is a knight. Well, specifically he's whatever this is, like a little larva, you see his little feet. But this is another like little extra thing. If you stay a little bit, like you can't touch this. But if you stay, this thing will start walking away and then you can smack it. This does nothing besides the fact that you now know that this guy isn't what he seemed to be. He's actually a tiny bug who was like in this giant armor that you're not even sure how he was using. Like you would assume there's other little bugs in there that got away. And his hammer was another bug that has such a hard shell you can't do anything to it. Honestly, if this little thing was the boss, you would have died no matter how slow it actually moved because you would be able to do nothing. But depending on which side of the map it is facing, like the closest to, it will just keep moving. You cannot walk and bump into it, but it will just walk off the map. And if you try to follow it, you will not be able to see it whatsoever. You can come right here, piles and piles of money. And if you're like, what happens if you go through that other side? Well, there's no way to do it from here, but it would lead you right up there, and it wouldn't be too much extra. You still don't have the abilities to jump higher. But this was a very quick thing. Like, I'm going to exit out of this and show you guys the time it took to do this. So remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And if you just needed to know the path, needed to know how to kill him, heck, you needed to know how to run away even. This is the guide for you to do that. Kind of like, there's no like actual cheese for him besides leaving the whole boss fight. I think he's one of the only bosses that you could literally just break a wall or something and just run away from. Most of the other ones, if not all of the other ones, are full on you're stuck. This is more so for people who are new to the game. If they happen to see this, then good on you. You skipped your first boss. It doesn't really do too much. I think he stays in here, honestly, until you come back and beat him. Because I've never just straight up skipped him. But if you just straight up skip him and then like beat the game and come back, I want to know what happens. But if you're watching the video on how to beat this guy, it's honestly gonna take a little bit before you tell me what happens, but I can wait for that. So thanks for watching. I'm gonna show you guys the time now, and peace till my next video. Okay guys, I went back to check the time, and honestly it took 11 minutes, but the thing about that is half of that was me walking, explaining, and then going through other stuff. So if you honestly wanted to just start off from straight up on the boss, then you would end up having a lot more time reduction than I have here, because 11 minutes is honestly quite a bit if you know how to play the game to go through that first area. It's a pretty big area when you haven't played. Like the first time I played the game on the Switch, it ended up taking me 11 hours to beat the first area, Dirtmouth, mainly because I explored the heck out of it and figured out a lot of things that you couldn't go to till later, and tested out to see if I could secretly go there anyway, but I couldn't. So and if you guys want to know about stuff like that, like some experiences or some like hidden places, like the spike place right there before the boss room where you need in-game abilities to go through, then of course leave a comment down below about that so I can talk about any of that. I'm starting off from a new progression area like Dirtmouth, and I'm going to go through the game and just hopefully help out most of you guys and explain some stuff as I go on, and eventually end up switching back to my main, because this is unlike other ones. I could probably go from Dirtmouth and show you all the way direct path until the second area boss, but that's a lot longer, so it's probably going to go from 11 to 30 minutes, and I would probably end up skipping a lot of it. So yeah, if you enjoyed, this does take a little bit. I had to start this one a bit more, but I thought this was a pretty good run and demonstration, so hopefully you guys could see how much that takes, because honestly any boss fight, no matter how easy you think it is, takes a little bit of practice. So if you're stuck on them, like the big guy, just remember to keep calm, have patience, and just keep enjoying the game. Thanks for watching.